Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel, and today I wanted to talk about finding your own style as an interviewer. I think that's the most important thing if you're going to start interviewing people, because when you first start out, you are going to emulate interviewers that you've been following. Like I used to emulate True Geordie and Jackmate because that's who I was following at the time for interviews. But as I say, I think it's important to find your own style, because if you just gonna copy other people's style, while people gonna stay tuned in for your interviews when they can just go and follow somebody else's interviews that are probably doing it better than you if you're just copying their style. As long as long as you're not being rude to the guest or to the guests, then obviously just be yourself. Just talk at your own space. Talk at your own pace. Just talk how you normally talk. Don't try and be professional. Because at the end of the day, what is professional? It's very subjective. What professional is. What I think is professional, you might think is unprofessional, and vice versa. So it's all subjective when it comes to professional. As I say, as long as you're not being rude to the person or to the people that you're interviewing, that's the most important thing. And another thing I would say is do the research. It really annoys me when I see interviewers that clearly have not done any research. It really pisses me off, to be honest. Because if you're gonna take the time to ask somebody to come onto the channel, at least do a bit of research. I understand you're not gonna be able to know everything about the person, but at least do the basic stuff, because if you because it just a waste of the it's just a waste of the person's time that you're interviewing, or the people's time that you're interviewing. And again, it's about showing respect to the person that you're interviewing. And if you ask somebody to come onto your podcast or come onto your YouTube channel and you can't be bothered to do the research, how disrespectful is that? Another thing I would say is that don't 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 try and ask 20 questions if you only have 5 minutes. Like if you only have 5 minutes, I would write down 4 or 5 questions, because some people will give you a long answer and go into really long detail. Like they will give you a lot in one answer, and some people they just like one word answers. And as an interviewer, you have to be prepared for both scenarios. Because if you have 4 questions, but the person's giving you an undetailed answer, obviously you won't have time to answer all four if you only got a 5 minute interview. And and if you do run out of time, it's not the end of the world. Like I've seen so many interviews where they clearly been told to wrap it up, and they carry on going and going, to the point where the actual person that they've interviewed have said, I've got to go now." So you don't want that, but also you don't want it to be a thing of where you end early, because obviously it's not going to be the end of the world if you end early. But obviously, if you've got 5 minutes, you don't want to waste that 5 minute slot just because you've run out of questions. That brings me on to my next point. If if the if the person that you're interviewing or the people that you're interviewing doesn't don't mind. Don't be afraid to ask improv questions. Like if somebody says something and you think, I've got a question about that, don't be afraid to ask it. If the other person or the other people don't mind, but there will be some people that will specifically want to stick to the prearranged questions, because some people they like to they like to think about what they're gonna say before they say it, and some people can answer questions off the cuff, if you know what I mean. Like some people can handle improv questions, and some people, as I said, like to stick to the prearranged questions. So if you think of a question and the person or people don't mind you asking questions that have not been written down, then just go for it. Because sometimes you can get really good questions from people's answers, and it shows that you're paying attention. As I said, some people they just want to stick to the prearranged questions, and that's it. Like the questions that have been agreed to and written down. That's all I want to do is answer them, because as I said earlier, they like to think about what they're gonna say, and some people are like, ask me anything, I don't care. And as an interviewer, it's your job to be able to do both. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not great at doing the prearranged questions thing. I can do it if I have to, but I'm not great at it. But as I said, I think it's important to be able to do both. And the last thing I want to say is, if you're doing an interview and the personal people are not into it and they're being really rude and they're being really abrupt, and it's clear that they don't want to be there, don't take it personally, because some days people can be having a bad day. You don't know what's been happening in other people's lives, and some people are just not nice people, and sometimes they've had to do the interview for whatever reason, and and I always think if you stoop to that level, you just look like a complete arsehole, and if they're gonna be arsehole, just be the best that you can be, because if you stoop to that level, people are gonna blame you as the interviewer, because let's be honest, if you're interviewing somebody, realistically, you're in control of how the interview goes. Like if you can tell somebody's not into it, all you really can do is ask the questions that you're going to ask, and then if they want to give one word answers, or if they want to be arsehole to you, then it's not the end of the world. And if they are being an arsehole to you, that's their problem, not yours. You can't control what other people do during the interview. Like when I first started, if I got somebody that wasn't really into it, I used to try my best to make it engaging. But honestly, over the years, I've just realised all you can do is what you can do, and if it's not engaging, then you can't really blame yourself, because all you can do is ask the questions that you're going to ask, And if people want to be rude or abrasive or just give one word answers, then that's all you can do. And you can't blame yourself with just asking the questions. Obviously, if you're being rude and you just want to go and you're just trying to goad them into giving a reaction, then that's different. Then you're being the arsehole and you're being the absolute wanker. But if you're just asking the questions and they're just clearly not into it, and they're being an arsehole and they're being abrasive, then there's nothing you can really do apart from just ask the questions and get the answers that you get. And I think most people are able to realise when somebody's been an arsehole to an interview, when somebody's been an arsehole to an interviewer, and when the interviewer's been an arsehole. Because if you're interviewing somebody and you're being an arsehole, you deserve every reaction that you deserve every reaction that you get. If you're being an arsehole and they storm out, then that's what you deserve. If you're being an arsehole and they call you a wanker, then that's what you deserve. If they call you a dick and you're being a wanker, again, that's what you deserve. So my point is just keep. My point is just try your best and get what you can get from an interview. So that would be my advice, and I hope you found this video helpful. I know people are gonna complain about me stammering, but but honestly, it's me. What did you expect? Nobody's gonna be perfect 100% of the time, are they? Anyway, and thank you for giving me some of your time. Have a good day. Stay safe. Bye bye.